but you just love the sound of nature. Is you what you were saying earlier. Did you tank and not drink? That's not okay. I'm trying to pace myself, and also I've been like, I know you've been hot and sweaty all day too. It's well, obviously you've been. Well, speaking of which, you work with alligators.
You know, I work with alligators.
All sorts of other stuff. That was an awesome show. Thank you. It was an awesome show. I'm glad that I was able to get out there and see it. Obviously, you guys know who I am. If you're watching this, it's because it's on my channel. We're somewhat intoxicated at the moment, so this is going to be a good time. This is Tyler.
I don't know what he's talking about. Tyler, also known as Reptileriff, because my last name is Ripple. So people call me Riff, Reptile, Riff, because I like reptiles. And they saw my show today,
and it was fantastic. We just met up, but he reached out to me on Instagram, and it's like, hey, look at all these cool alligator videos. That why wouldn't I look at cool alligator videos? And you know, if you guys have watched my stuff, you hopefully have seen me tagging and stuff. And came down here to the Everglades. There are cars in the background. If you guys don't know, we are right next to the Everglades outpost at the moment. So you guys, a lot of you have probably heard about it. And this is your house, right?
Yes, I am one of the residents at the Everglades Outpost Wildlife Rescue. They've been open for a long time. They opened just around the same time as the Everglades Alligator Farm. Okay, so early 70s. And the owners of both places have been very involved in the conservation of wildlife. Alligators and crocodiles, the Burmese pythons, they have taken in so many Burmese pythons so people didn't have to kill them over the years. Alligators of nuisance origins, like people were feeding them. They ended up in somebody's swimming pool, and those people were like from New Jersey, and they weren't used to alligators. They just moved here, and like, oh my God, there's a monster in our pool. And so that's why it's important that we educate people with the shows that I do, that I'm glad that you guys enjoyed, where people come from all over the world, especially all over the parts of the United States as well, and they get to learn about an animal maybe they never thought about before. And so that's why I think what I do is really important, because when people learn about something and they're not afraid of it anymore, and the fear is what makes people do stupid things like pass laws where you have to kill animals for existing in the wrong spot.
One of the things that we were talking about is like, I wanted to be able to remove venomous snakes, like in Florida. So like if someone called and they had a rattlesnake or a cottonmouth in their yard, and I wanted to remove it and move it somewhere where it could go and do its natural thing, I legally cannot do that because I don't have my venomous species permit. What I was told specifically is if I get a call for that, I can go there to remove it, but I have to immediately kill it. As soon as I put it in a bucket and move it somewhere else, that is considered possession, and that is illegal in Florida unless I have my permits.
They want your money. I don't understand it. No, they want your money. They don't. It's not important to them about any of the other stuff. As long as you're paying them and you go through their system, and, you know, I mean, I understand that they want everybody's name on a list, so if something goes wrong, they know who to blame. True. I get that. But there's so much nonsense that falls through the cracks. So many people released invasive animals because they immediately made it illegal to own one, and if you didn't have the right updated paperwork, you had to kill the one, your pets that you had for a long time. I don't think that's right. But, you know, that's really political.
It is.
And, you know, I don't necessarily want to get I get emotional. I mean, I'm about to start crying. But anyway, what are some things that you wanted to ask me about maybe my experiences? Because I've got a whole bunch of stories and information. I don't know what you want to know.
Well, you said you've been doing this for, what, 10 years now?
That's when I got started back in 2012, volunteering under Mr. Christopher Gillette. He was the intricate part of me learning how to handle alligators and crocodiles, and his expertise is one of the reasons that I can handle gators so pretty flawlessly.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
what you're doing.
Yeah. and I owe a lot of that to him. And then after that, he showed me a lot of the basics. And then past that, I learned a lot from Native Americans when I used to work for the Miccosukee Culture Center. Okay, they were the ones that carved this wooden alligator head out of a cypress tree branch, and I've had it ever since. And it means a lot to me. So the Native Americans, they're very conscious of empathy and using empathy to interact with the animals. And that was something that I learned a lot from Chris as well. And so that was like a perfect merge for me to continue my learning and how to look at the gator and tell what they're feeling and what they're going to do based on looking at the muscles in their fingertips. Because gators don't have facial expression. Because the muscles on their face, if they had muscles on their face when they bite each other in the head, that would mean a bigger injury. So they have rock hard faces like the limestone that we have here for our fire pit. Okay? So the gator's head is harder than the limestone, which is crazy. But yeah, their hard stone-like face allows them to bite each other in the face with very little...
They don't have as much damage. They don't take as much damage. Make it heal really quick.
Yeah. No, very little consequence. There we go. Is what I'm looking for. Goodness gracious. I'm sorry. No, yeah, this is after a whole day of doing gator handling shows and feeding chicken to giant alligators at the fence line at work all day in the sun. So, I'm a little illiterate at the moment up here. You know what I'm saying?
Well, also throughout this, you guys are watching this now, but you have seen that I put little clips of today's show that I was able to take and the facility, because the facility is absolutely gorgeous. Here's the thing. Most places you go to that are animal related, you walk in, you immediately notice the smell. Not only do you notice the smell, but, the animals don't look healthy. You'll have a big snake and almost every single time they're stuck shed all over it. Like something simple like that. But, I understand enclosures get dirty, but there's just crap everywhere in there, but not with you guys. Everything was completely clean. Everything looked like it was meticulously went through. All the snakes looked healthy. All the crocodilians looked fantastic. Cuban crocs, saltwater crocs. Hundreds and hundreds of gators everywhere. And they all looked great. Every single one of them looked healthy.
And I'll tell you what it is. A lot of it is us not overfeeding the reptiles. Yeah. A lot of people do not understand when they have reptiles as pets, you are not supposed to feed them as much as people think. I'm hungry every day, so that means I should feed these animals every other day. No. If you have a reptile, do not feed them every time they're hungry. You feed them once in a while and do your own research. Find 3 different sources that say the same thing. That's usually what's right. That's a good idea, okay? And that's what I do for my videos. When I post videos on my YouTube channel, which you guys are welcome to check out. But, of course, so when you're looking up how to take care of your animal, reptiles, they have these slow metabolisms. Gators, almost most of all. Anacondas have such slow metabolisms. They'll eat a lot, like 13 large rats at a time, and they won't really even be looking for food for another couple of months. Alligators, they'll want food at least once or twice a month. And especially the ones that I do the shows with, they need to eat more, not so they don't attack me. Because people think that all the time. They think, oh, Tyler, you feed the gator so they don't attack you. Wrong. The more you feed an animal, like a gator, the more it thinks about eating you. You know what I mean? Of course, unless if you feed it until it's stuffed, then obviously it's going to sit there. But that's not healthy, and we don't concern ourselves with that opinion anyway. So the alligators that we feed, that we do shows with, that I feed a little bit more than other gators at the facility, it's because we're working them. I'm making them move around a little bit. They're coming after me. They're chasing me. They're defending themselves. They're, thrashing around to bite me. All that burns calories. So naturally, they're going to need to eat a lot more. Not a whole lot more, but a little bit more than your average alligator in a captive setting.
So you guys also feed them things like rats, like frozen thawed rat, or, they're eating smaller meals rather than like one large meal at a time. So if you gave them like a couple of rats a day, it's not the same thing as if, in the wild, they sit there and they eat, a 13 or 14 pound raccoon or something like that. It's that literally, maybe, that could, I'm just guessing it.
No, it's okay. So this is our feeding schedule at the gator farm, at the Everglades Alligator Farm, which I'm not sure if we said that's where he visited today.
Yes.
And that's my place of work. And I love working there. I actually love the Everglades Alligator Farm way before I was ever able to work there. Just so you guys know, there's a huge, long waiting list of people that want to do the things that I do. They're waiting for me to get fired there. Like, there is a literal list in the office of people that are on call for when I don't work and I don't come back.
What you're saying is you're very fortunate that you were able to get in there.
I'm extremely fortunate, and I'm happy with where I am. And I am focused on the future, what's next for me. But I'm very happy with where I am. So back to the Everglades Alligator Farm. If you're caretaking an alligator and you happen to work with it on a regular basis, we work with our gators hands-on on a daily basis. So like I said, that burns extra calories. I feed them once every 2 weeks. The male, the bigger one that's 340 pounds, 9 feet long, he gets 8 rats, big jumbos. Okay, the female gets 5. Okay, both of them I'm sure would like a little bit more. Okay, the idea is not for them to be satisfied. The idea is for them to be healthy. Okay, if Americans, some of us, eat until we're satisfied, you see this? Okay, you see what I'm talking about? So you understand what I'm saying? Okay, there are people that feed their animals until the animal stops eating. That is not, first of all, that's going to damage the health of the reptile because, yeah, there you go.
That's a big one. Why do you think savanna monitors in captivity almost never survive past like 2 years?
Because people leave them in the cage and the animal needs exercise.
That might be another reason. They also feed them a lot of mice when they're supposed to eat like insects.
Yeah.
Bad diets, all sorts of stuff. You know, one question I did have for you. Before you started working with alligators, like versus now, what is the biggest difference in your thought process between like, what is something that you thought before you started working with them and now you realize you were either completely wrong or your mind was changed on like from then to now? So before you start to versus now, what is the thought process? Like, is there a big difference? Like, do you notice that, hey, I thought these animals were like this, but it's actually not like that at all. They're actually more like this.
Anytime I generalize alligators, I find out that I'm wrong.
That makes sense.
So anytime that I've ever thought like, hey, if I do this with a gator, XYZ is going to happen probably.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be wrong in some kind of fashion. So I'm always ready to be wrong. That's one thing I've learned. When it comes to not just the gators, but I mostly with the gators because I'm with them every single day. That's all that's on my mind. I go there, I recognize there's a pond of 300 gators in there where I do my gator feedings. You guys are welcome to come and check it out at the gator farm. I'm there from Wednesday through Saturday every week. And I'm feeding these chickens or the dead rats or whatever to these big gators. And I can pick out one gator out of the 300 or another gator. I've got like 25 in there that I've got name trained. Okay? That's another thing Chris Gillette taught me, and he's very smart with this stuff. So, because I was able to train them and I spend a lot of time focusing on the gators, I can tell them apart by face, by their facial features. And a lot of people, they're like, wow, that's so incredible. And I say, you know how I can tell them apart like that? It's because I have no life. That's it. That's it, baby. Well, that's sad, but true.
I mean, no life is relative. Because if you compare yourself to the people who are living, a few miles away in Miami that are living this life where like they're in these penthouses and a whole different world down. Okay, you go walking through the Everglades and you realize how small you are. Not only how small you are, but how nature, we have moved ourselves so far from it that it's something I think people need to go out and do. Like, I know you do some herping and everything, but like dealing with alligators in the wild versus these ones in captivity. What is there a difference or is it that what I mean by is there a difference if you went up to, say, a wild alligator?
First of all, that's illegal, and I would never do anything. I would never, ever, ever do anything illegal.
Well, I guess my point is, like, if I go up to an alligator at a park and it's there, and I'm not talking about handling it. If you walked up to that alligator and, like, didn't give it the respect it was owed, messed around with it, something happens. Is that the exact same situation when you're dealing with them in captivity, even though they're used to people a little bit more, or they should be used to people? You deal with them on a daily basis. Even though you are the one that feeds them, do you treat them the exact same way? Or are you, like, is there a difference between that wild alligator in that pond and the ones that you deal with on a daily basis? Or, like, respect-wise, like, I mean, obviously they can both do the same thing, but, like, do the alligators know that? Are they habituated to people enough where you can let that guard down, or does it not matter at all?
With a wild alligator versus the captive ones that I do my shows with, the captive alligators, they're not afraid of you.
They're not afraid of you.
Wild ones, now fear can be dangerous, obviously, right? But the wild gators, they look at you like you're a fellow predator. The captive gators, they look at you like a refrigerator that's made out of food.
I mean, it makes sense. It really does. So basically, you have to be a little bit, I wouldn't say more cautious, but you still have to have the same amount of caution just because of a different reason.
And I think it's easy to be around wild gators because I know them so well. But for people that are not around gators every day like me, okay, and that's not like part of your lifestyle. If you happen to encounter a wild gator, it's very difficult for you to screw that up. So when I see these videos, posting these videos of when people go out and they get hurt by a wild gator, there is like 5 levels of stupid you have to pass in order to get bit by that animal.
I agree with that.
And my dad is an intelligent man and an amazing fisherman. I respect the hell out of that man, and I will to the day that I die. There are so many fishermen, and he's a fellow fisherman as well. There are so many fishermen, listen closely, that don't care about the wildlife, okay? They go out and they throw their fish to the gator. I've seen it. It's terrible because you know what happens? It doesn't matter that it was a wild fish. You throw it to the wild alligator, he now thinks, oh, humans are going to feed me now. A lot of people, they like to cry when they see the animals. Oh my God, in captivity, it's so sad. How many of you watching this video, how many of you live in the woods right now? Why not? Is it because maybe living in the woods sucks?
It's hard.
It's difficult. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a struggle. Okay. So don't cry for the wild animals. Don't cry for the captive animals. The wild ones are the ones that go through the struggle. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is because the struggle, if you think about that animal and how hard it has to work to survive, people throw food to it, and then it starts thinking, well, hang on a second, my life is a struggle, and this human just gave me food for free. Oh my God, my whole life has changed. All my problems are solved. God has answered my prayers. And so that's when the alligators start thinking, because they don't have the best vision, they think we're all the same person. They're going to see some kid and think, oh my gosh, that's the fisherman guy.
Or the old person walking the dog near the lake.
Exactly. We've had 3 deaths in the last 2 years where somebody was walking their dog by the lake and an alligator attacked the dog. The lady tried to defend her dog, which I respect. And then you know what happened? They all died. The dog died first. The human died for defending their loved one. And then they put the gator down later on. I think a red ant just bit my ass.
Feeling good?
He told me I was too fired up, so he gave me a good snip.
You do seem a little fired up.
I kind of was fired up.
That's part of
Is this fireball? Is that the...
No.
Just kidding.
No.
Fireball. Fireball. I know you're bringing me back to my college years. If only I went to college.
I can't do that fireball. No, it's. I love the whole natural aspect. I don't like it when people are sitting there telling you how to act or you need to do this or that. Like that's the whole thing I try to tell people whenever I do my videos. Is like I am myself. I talk the same way in the videos that I do in real life because the last thing I want is people to think I am just some faker. Mm-hmm. So that's whatever you say. Like I would much rather you be yourself than sit there and put on like a filter because that's the whole part of this is a conversation.
Well, I'm a little intoxicated. So there's a filter going on there, but it's more of an honest filter.
And that's honestly the best because we get so much lies definitely, but so much BS out there when it comes to actually talking about these things. Like, okay, speaking of which, Burmese python problem. This is going to be fun because I have talked about it multiple times and how people have given me crap because when I talk about it, my opinion on it is that it could be solved a lot easier. All these invasive species, the problem could be fixed a lot easier if it was monetized and you let anyone go out there and make money doing it. And if you paid somebody, hey, I'm going to pay you this much amount of money per skin, those animals would be wiped out in a heartbeat. What about all these other animals that we're talking about constantly like endangered of going extinct? Okay, think about over in Africa, all these rhinos that they're going after the horns, sell them. No, it's for the horn tips. Well, even something like that, that would keep these species. Listen, you have something like that. Now, saying that I didn't even think about that, but that's the reason that they're going after them is because they make money on them. And we're just sitting here, okay, you're not allowed to do this, and they still get poached. They still get killed. And people go out of the way because they're trying to make money. Here in the United States, we don't have as much of an issue with that. But if people could make money going and selling tegus out of state or birds out of state, even selling them that way, dude, illegal. Hello, it is illegal now. It is now.
Careful, but you're gonna cuff me or what?
But the point is, like, it is legal now. But like, we're sitting here talking about all this, and we know that it is basically only down to what? There's 60 trappers now or something like that that are licensed around the state.
I know a few of the trappers.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the trapper.
Yeah.
I guess my point is that it has been handcuffed. So now the whole big thing with like this python roundup, it's like, hey, we're doing something, but you could be doing a lot more and it could cost the state a lot less money and it could be less publicity. Hey, just have people go out there and kill them. And at this point, I don't even want to because I value those animals. They're still animals. They're not just... That's the one thing that drives me crazy about watching these people like shooting the iguanas with pellet guns or like, making these videos about them hunting these animals because as much as we want... Imagine if... I hate to use this example, but imagine if it was a cat. How much outrage would there be if people were shooting these cats and that are feral in the neighborhoods with pellet guns?
I mean, I honestly wouldn't give a damn, and I love cats.
I wouldn't care either, but most people would.
Yeah. Well, most people are soft.
Most people are very soft.
I'm sorry.
No, that is true. It's very true.
Sorry. It's the liquor.
Okay. But I completely agree there. With the conservation part, though, what do you think, in your opinion, would be the best way to solve something like that? So this is all opinions at this point, but like, what do you think should happen?
So it would be great to have everybody go out and grab the pythons. I agree with you on that. They've had the python challenge and all this. Okay, you know what happens? People go out and they start, people that are not trained, that don't have the expertise to have those permits, you know what happens? You know what they end up killing? Everything but Burmese pythons. And
have you seen that?
Yes. People bring them here. A dead rat snake. And they're like, I bit my daughter. I thought it was a pearl snake. So I killed it. Can you identify the snake before we go to the hospital?
That's something that you found personally. Someone brought that to you.
Yes. People kill rattlesnakes and think they're pythons. People kill king snakes and think they're pythons. So I think what you're saying is a great idea. But the process, the filter that they use, so, okay, we're going to give out these permits for our python hunters to be legit. It's too lengthy of a process. People's attention spans are this freaking big. You got to make things easy for people. Make an app. This is how you apply. This is what a python looks like. Give them an app that says, here, hold this up to the snake. Is this the pattern? No? Don't kill it. Boom. Make an app like that, and then you're going to solve problems.
That makes sense.
That's what I think that we should do. So not that we shouldn't have everybody go and help the snakes and bring them out of the wild. We don't need to kill them. Okay? I mean, for God's sake, for God's snake, sorry, I can't help myself. So what we could do is have them in a captive setting out of state where they can't survive. See, the reason why they don't want anybody to keep any more live pythons in this state is because it's hot enough in the wild where if they escape, they ruin the environment, or what's left of it. What we haven't destroyed yet, that's what the pythons are terrorizing. That's good Lord. Talk about the pot calling pot calling the kettle black. My goodness. Bro, that drink is good. That's all I gotta say.
When was that? Was that the peanut butter?
Yeah. I was gonna say I don't remember, but I do.
Peanut butter, whiskey, and grape juice. Tastes like a PB&J. Bro, fantastic.
That's like the magic potion. I don't know if you guys play Skyrim, but that's the health potion. That's the minor magic healing, whatever. So anyway, if there was a way for us to take the pythons and put them, sell them as pets in a place where if they escape, they would die throughout the winter, then that would be something the government could accept.
So how much time have you spent out in the woods by yourself? In the woods, I could mean the swamp as well. A lot of time?
Whenever I go out in the Everglades, whether it's here or up north, I'm out there 6 hours minimum.
Okay, so with that being said,
diving in rivers, breaking rules, and all kinds of stuff. Why?
Is an experience that when it was happening, we're like, there's no way this is actually happening.
There's a few moments like that.
Okay, the first one that comes to mind, that like the really big one.
You guys ready for a story? Imagine you're a kid, about 17, and you're learning about alligators, and there's this guy that is training you how to work with gators, and he says, we have to feed the alligators here in a small 60-foot by 20-foot enclosure. That's small. There's over 20 alligators, full grown, so 7 to 10 feet long. And they haven't eaten in 4 months. None of them. And you go in there at night, which is when they're at their most active, gators, when they've been sitting in the sun all day, that's them charging their batteries. Gators are nocturnal creatures by nature. That's why I've always wanted to do a park where, like, we do night shows with alligators. That would be badass.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, I would love it. But unfortunately, people, I don't know that they would come to see it because, people do our stuff. We do our stuff during the day. We sleep at night, whatever. So probably be very exclusive. Anyway, so we're out there after dark, and we go in with these buckets of chickens, Purdue chicken, whatever. It's fresh. It's nice. So the gators, they can smell it. I've been waiting for this. So before we even go in, the gators are starting to get restless. Sun's going down. It's getting dark. We got headlamps on. That doesn't help at all. We go in. When I tell you, these gators were like 20 freaking velociraptors, and we were rabbits, baby pigs, squealing for our lives, running in circles, as these alligators were clamoring over each other to come and grab our freaking ankles and snap them off and eat them whole. I didn't sleep for 3 days. I didn't know any better.
What would you have done differently?
Oh, bet him over the freaking fence.
Instead of going in there? Yeah. Okay, what about wild encounters?
Legal or unlegal?
Whatever you want to say that's not going to get you in trouble.
You don't even know these days. These days, telling the truth is illegal. What?
We don't want to get you in trouble.
Oh, man, please lock me up. People in prison are probably more real than the people outside anyway. Anyway, so the most wild encounter. By the way, that whole encounter of the gators like literally chasing after me, clambering over each other, falling into the water, swimming after us, like roaring and popping, following us in circles, 20 alligators like cockroaches running from the light. You don't forget jumping teeth and jaws like that. You don't forget that. I can still see it plain as day. That's a traumatic event for me.
You saying that enough? The healthy respect that you need to have for animals, regardless of whether or not they're in captivity or not. It blows me away. Like I see videos of people, like there was one in an airboat where the gator jumps up onto the airboat a little bit, like halfway, and he beats him, can pet him. I'm sitting here like, these are not pets. You are endangering everybody in this situation. If that gator grabbed onto him, what? That even if he survived just fine, whatever, that gator's dead. They're going to kill that gator.
It's not the gator's fault either.
Yeah, it's not.
Look, the gator's brain is this small. Okay? So if our brains are this freaking big and you find yourself getting injured by an animal whose brain is this freaking small, pop quiz, whose fault this is?
Probably.
Freaking God. I can't believe that people still think alligators attack unprovoked.
Well, I've noticed too. They talk about these are how many unprovoked attacks have happened. I'm like, are they really unprovoked?
And you all see the videos of the old man by the water with the golf club or whatever with the gator chasing him. They don't show you the video of the guy with the fishing pole splashing by the gator's face. They cut that part out. They roll the part where the gator's chasing him. They don't show you the truth, man. And it pisses me off. You know why? Because then it makes people pass laws that work against the alligators. Gators they don't even hurt each other on purpose. Occasionally they tear each other's arm off. It's an accident. Look, do you have any siblings?
Yes, I do.
Okay, did you ever fight with them?
Absolutely.
If you were strong enough as an infant to accidentally, pull their arm off, how many arms and legs would you guys have as adults?
I would be like the Black Knight on a fight. Kiss flesh.
The idea is we would all be freaking amputees if we had the strength of an alligator that they have when they're young and immature.
So when it comes to gators in general, so in the 90s, so around the time that we were born, they were almost wiped out. Their number was just, was it the 70s? Then they had started to make 20 years off, my bad. They were almost wiped out at one point.
Don't worry about it.
Point is, they were almost wiped out.
Yes.
I was thinking about Goliath grouper, my bad. Goliath grouper were almost wiped out in the 90s, not alligators. But, so, alligators, we need to go. Yes. Not tonight.
Not tonight.
But we do.
But we do need to go.
So, and also, like, I know you do a lot down here. Also, I'm central North Florida as well. I know I have a lot of spaces up there. Well,
I was actually going to come up and go herping up there. I'm going to go herping up in West Palm Beach and get some footage of horseshoe crabs for the people that watch my channel.
We got
6 people that watch my channel. We got horseshoe crab videos.
We got horseshoe crabs up in the Pinellas too. Dude, we got a bunch of them.
Yeah, let's do it.
But also this fall, when hognose snake, Hogtober. Dude, you want to look at hognose snakes and rattlesnakes? You want to go cruise? Some dirt roads looking for hognose and rattlesnakes.
This man is inviting me to herp. It's like, hey, bro, can I get you some whiskey for free? You know what? Cuff me now. God forbid. Yeah, absolutely, I accept.
So, when it comes to the alligators making their comeback. And
Like a Kardashian. That's how I know I have some Southern, because I do this squeal lat like a old fat white guy.
yeah,
That's how I know I'm Southern. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
we go.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
With them making their comeback like they did. We have obviously all of the growth in population as well. We've talked a little bit about all these other animals that are being wiped out of their homes. What do we do about the fact that any body of water basically in Florida, at least at one point in time, probably had a gator in it, if not now? What is the solution here with all the population growth? Is it obviously education is a big one, but like
Education is
what other options are there? Because the only other options I see is that they kill so many of these gators. Like it's at a point now where they're fine. They're not going to go extinct anytime soon.
I go to breeding farms.
Thankfully, they have made their way back. I think personally that you just got to live alongside of them. It doesn't matter. Like they're going to be there, and that's something you have to deal with. We just ran after something that I didn't see. I have been bit by mosquitoes all weekend. I am confused. You got it? What was it?
It's an orange. Look at the juice. Actually, this is a cane toad. Oh shit. Dude, give me 5.
Yeah, look at the size of this dude.
Huff.
Oh my god. That's the size of the palm of my hand.
Look at how pretty their eyes are. Look at the iris.
I love
the camera. Look at how pretty. I love okay, first of all, can we agree that frogs have like the prettiest eyes on the planet?
Dude, these guys are another one that has such a bad rep. And I understand why they do. At the same time, it's not their fault.
No,
none of these animals, it's their fault.
They were introduced here because the cane beetle was eating all the sugar cane, and the sugar cane empire has caused huge problems. Is your orange getting a little soaked? Oh my god. Oh shit. Get it out of the fire. My god. Get him out of the fire.
He didn't jump on the fire.
Oh my god, it's the frog in the boiling pot. Can you see this?
Yeah, they can see it. They can see everything.
I don't know what's in frame. Oh, he's peeing.
Oh yeah, I'm soaked. I haven't seen any of his bufo poison or whatever it is.
But those are the glands right there.
Those big glands right there. If a dog grabs a hold of this, it's pretty much lights out.
So that's why, even though we love these cute little invasive animals, yeah, they're bad for the environment. But another thing is, keep your damn dogs inside. You know what I mean? If you're going to walk them out and then bring them back in. A lot of people, they're like, oh, the toads are bad for our pets. If they're a pet, that means, boom. You know what? You keep it indoors, and then you bring it outside with you. Okay, if your dog's in your backyard, make sure there's no toads in your backyard. You know, a little bit of, what is it called?
Self-responsibility.
Thank you. Responsibility. Just a little bit. It's really not much.
Same thing with walking your dog near the water with the alligators. Again, we come back to that.
God, let's talk about that. I'm so sick of seeing these people die on screen or hear about it. Like, all the time. I hear about, what about that lady? What about that kid in Disney? First of all,
that was Disney's fault.
First of all, there should have been a fence there.
Yeah.
And second of all, I'm telling you right now, if the dad and the kid were not splashing in the water to get the gator's attention, there's no way in hell that alligator would actually look at that kid as food. I'm telling you 1,000%. You know how I know this?
Is that what happened?
You know how I know this? I work with gators for a living, ones that are fed by people. So food aggressive, they had to be locked in captivity before a trapper shot them. Thanks to Paul Bedard from the Gator Boys. He brings all our gators to the gator farm. Okay? He's awesome. and he brings them here to the outpost.
That's
Isn't
a
this
thick
handsome?
toad. That's a
Look at
thick
the-
toad. That's a thick toad. And that's a small one.
So healthy.
It's
Look
a-
at you.
I
You
know.
know what they eat? Maggots and roaches under the dumpster. Okay? Now, anyway, oh my goodness, look at those little nostrils.
Right.
We so cute.
I wish I could have this guy as a pet, but, you know.
Actually, you could.
I thought Florida law was Florida law in Minecraft. But these guys are so cool. I mean, it's sad that Florida has such. It's not sad that Florida has the perfect habitat for so many animals, but it's sad that the animals are the ones that get. Yeah, and so even our native animals obviously aren't safe, because as soon as the native animals give any problems to people, the native animals are killed too.
Like the alligators that chase people's dogs. Hey, here's a great tip. Walk your dogs where alligators live, by the water. Alligators are aquatic predators. They hunt at the water's edge. You know this. I have personal friends of mine that would send me videos of them letting their pit bull dogs or whatever swim out in croc territory. What in the hell is wrong with you? Sorry. Not sorry. Isn't that what people are saying these days?
I've got to get to the point where you don't have self-responsibility for the things you do when you know that these animals are in the area. It's not your fault. It's at the end of the day, it becomes your fault if you put yourself in those situations. But sadly, the way of the world, that's not how it works. But this has been very entertaining.
Look at how pretty the iris is in.
This is really gorgeous.
It's always a master. Oh, he's got little blisters. How cute. Dang. Guys, look at him. He's trying to say hello to you. Oh,
Where can everybody find you?
Blaze Alligator Farm, Wednesday through Saturday, 9 o'clock, 5:30. Also, I do school events and birthday stuff. If you guys want to book me, I am $150 an hour, but I bring baby giant horses, alligators, and snakes. Okay?
All sorts of cool stuff.
And a big frog.
And a big frog. Pac-Man? Pac-Man. That's big Pac-Man.
Sometimes he pukes when I take him on the road. So just be careful for that smell. Okay? That's something I've learned. Bringing the Pac-Man frog on the road, he gets car sick.
He had one of his pet king snakes spray all over a fan, and it came up and it hit me.
Shit actually hit the fan. I couldn't believe it. Was great. I thought we were going to share this with you guys. My king snake is super food aggressive, so I was careful to take him out, so I grabbed him by the ass end. And then when I picked him up out of the cage, he was totally chill.
He must.
When he started, okay, it was I don't know if you guys have ever handled, what is it? The Bahamian, Bimini boas? No, the Jamaican boa. The freaking Jamaican boas. You know what they do when they defend themselves? Burmese. It is a fountain of crap. And he did that right over my fan. My little
Box fan.
area box fan, whatever. Those super powerful ones you get for $30 at Walmart. It's like a jet engine. That's only $30. Okay? Best $30 you'll ever spend, by the way. But anyway, so yeah, he pooped all over the fan while it was going on high speed, and then sprayed all over her legs. I couldn't believe it. Shit hit the fan. It was wonderful.
It was great.
Bye, Mr. Cane Toad. But anyway,
Let's see.
so many things to learn. So many things that we haven't talked about. I can't drink this. He peed in it.
Oh, you peed in it?
Yeah, I was juicing him. We're getting big. We probably got malaria.
Have you ever experienced anything that you cannot explain out there? What do you have outlets? And if not, that's fine.
You're asking me to talk about something I can't explain. I love that question.
Just something.
You were kind of going.
Something you noticed that you were just what the hell was that?
They have found. There's people here in South Florida that practice like animal sacrifices,
Oh, you've come across like a whole like, oh God,
black altars,
what?
fresh and rotten. Sheep's heads, goat heads,
Just out in the middle of the Everglades,
all
middle of nowhere.
doll's heads burned with like people's faces, pictures like stabbed with the doll head. Oh, we're weird.
What?
Like, I wrestle gators for a living, and I think some people are fucking weird, man. Like, people say, oh, don't judge.
I mean,
Sure.
if I saw somebody burning a doll in the middle of the woods with other people's faces,
Tape to it and with a knife. Bruh. Like,
You
I understand the mosquitoes biting my... No. I understand the mosquitoes biting my ankles more than I understand those people.
can imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, I wouldn't have gone back to that spot either.
No.
Oh man, what is the biggest gator you've ever wrestled?
His name was Rumpelstiltskin.
Rumpelstiltskin. That's a good name.
11 feet long. Like, huge bone structure. Look, wire. Like, just this big, giant gator. Long ass head. Super muscular. Not obese like some gators in captivity. This gator would kill other gators for sport and carry them around in his mouth on the surface of the water to send a message to the other gators. This is like if Hannibal Lecter was an alligator.
And we're
Intelligent, badass, charismatic. He was at Miccosukee Indian Village before my manager who had left, Pharaoh Giles, he left and he brought that alligator with him. Gator was so cool, badass. I had to drag him up. Okay, so most of the time, when you pull an alligator out of the pond, all they want to do is get back to the pond. You pull this gator out of the pond up on land, it sees you. It's like a bullfrog sees a mosquito. It's like, game on, biatch. Gunning for me. And so the second I get him out of the water, I've got to get onto his back. Now, most gators, when they have the back, you know, their head and then their back, you know. With this gator's head and his back was up here. That's how you know he's freaking built like John Cena.
just muscular, not fat.
Absolutely effing shredded. Okay? You understand that? This gator hit the gym, had a personal trainer, drank protein in the morning and at night. Okay? So because of those things, I had to jump over his back muscle, shredded alligator, to land on the... When you jump a gator, first of all, don't ever do this. But when you jump a gator, you aim for the neck. Okay? This allows you to control all the movements of the animal that matter. People are always like, hey, Tyler, hey, Riff, watch for the tail. Bruh, tail cannot eat you. What the hell are they saying that for? Oh, the tail can break your legs. I don't give a shit. The tail can't eat me. What's wrong with people sometimes? You know what? At least they're looking out for me. Whatever. So, anyway, jumping on his back. And he's going ape shit. Let's go. Or, yes. I guess you're going to have to bleep that, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Oh, I curse. I don't give a
Fuck. Shit. So anyway, got over the back. It was a perfect snag on the neck. And when you jump a gator and you grab their neck, it's this big, like, you know when you watch the fireworks at 4th of July, the grand finale? That's what it's like. When you jump a gator, that it's like when you have a Charizard and you don't have enough badges, and the Charizard knows it.
That's going over my head.
Okay. For those of you that don't understand Pokemon, all right?
I wasn't allowed to play Pokemon.
What, was it too violent?
Demons, that's what it was. Yeah.
Okay, anyway. For those of you that have culture, no offense, okay? Charizard, big badass dragon Pokemon, the trainer of this Pokemon, whatever, didn't have enough gym badges. Okay, he tells the Pokemon to kill the other one with fire, and the Pokemon's like, dude, you don't have enough badges. I don't respect you. Point. Okay? So that's what this gator was like. The gator disrespected you with every action that it took. And you felt like that gator was right to disrespect you. Like, you're like, the gator would look at you and go, that's the sound they make, in case you guys didn't know. That's the sound they make when a gator says, hey, punk ass. You're a punk ass. Okay? It's like a snarl and a snort and a hog grunt all at the same time, and a little bit of a hiss.
Man, bear, pig.
Pretty much. So he made that sound at me, so that's when I was like, bet, as the kids say. Go out into the water. When he's coming at me, boom, dodge, grab the tail, big long-ass body, big tail. Gives me a little bit of room to work with him because he's super fast, right? But he's big, so he's kind of a little bit on the slow side. So I bring him out. Now, he's not like most big gators, super slow. This gator is faster. He's like, you remember from Game of Thrones, the Mountain?
Mm-hmm.
Stronger than any man you've ever seen and quicker than you'd think for a man of that size. That's this alligator. So anyway, I'm pulling him out by the tail. I get him up. I see that big-ass back. I jump over and grab the neck. He goes apeshit. And then I control the mouth. It was just, once he stopped going apeshit and I had control over the situation, it's like you're on the back of a hurricane and you're not stopping the hurricane, but you get to choose which way it goes. And that power corrupts people. So, and I have Chris Gillette and Pharaoh Giles and Albert Killian and Bob Freer to thank for my knowledge of these animals. Okay? So, thanks to those men, I've been able to learn. And I've taught myself some things watching the alligators interact with each other. But the real badass stuff, it's come from them. 100%.
See, it sounds like you respect them a lot. There's not many people that I respect in a way that, we at least working with them. Like, there's a few people, very few people, because it seems like most of the people are usually blowing smoke out of their ass. But it sounds like the way you talk about them, they're real people.
They're important to me. And that is what matters to me. So,
again, hardest one you've ever had to deal with.
Rumpelstiltskin literally killed 3 or 4 gators before we had to lock him in a cell by himself. And then he broke out of it to kill the crocodile that I helped Gatorland bring to the facility. Now a crocodile. And that was actually, I posted a video recently of me as like a 5-year-old or like a 6-year-old at Gatorland with the gator on my lap, my first gator in my life. And then the ball python over my neck. They do those photos for like everybody, customers, whoever pays the $10, $15. And then when I went back and brought the Nile crocodile with me as an adult by myself, it was just like, I recreated the photo, and it was just very symbolic. Like, I did it. It's an amazing feeling. Alligators, a lot of people, you don't really get to feel the peace that comes off of these animals. There's real peace that comes from these animals. There is so much power in them that they don't abuse. And I think humans can learn a lot from that, just from being around it. So that's why I encourage you guys not to go out and look for getting close with alligators in the wild, but if you can find an area where there's a good setting in captivity, much like where I work, just so happens, Everglades Alligator Farm freaking rocks. You come out, you check out my alligator shows, you get to hold a baby and watch me carry some of the big ones and get on the back of some of them. They are so special. The way they move and the way that they look at me, not to sound freaking corny or gooey, but these animals, they complete me, man. They're the best.
It takes a special type of person. That's the thing that people. It's the same with any other animals. I mean, it could be tigers. It could be any other animal that could do serious harm to you. That you understand, you have that respect and knowing that at any moment, if something goes wrong, they could do serious damage. But the point is that you are there, understanding that, respecting that, and you were able to work with them. And I mean, it blows me away. You do things that I don't think I would ever do.
And that's fine. That makes you an intelligent person. That means you have respect for.
I agree. You are a very intelligent person. That's the thing. It's just because you wrestle alligators, don't mean anything about intelligence. I just think that it takes a special type of person to get past that. Like, I have a fear of animals I know can do damage to me. I have a fear of driving in a way that I don't trust anybody else road.
You shouldn't trust,
and that like, I think that there's a difference.
Florida.
There's a difference between going headlong into something and being stupid and having a healthy respect, but still doing it. And that's what I believe that you do, because you definitely, like, during the show, you're talking to people like, hey, pay attention to this, what I'm telling you about this right now, with the babies as an example. We're just like, you grab them this way, you grab them that way, so you, have control and they can't hit you. That's a little gator that isn't going to do any damage, and its mouth is closed, it's taped shut. But you're also being like, hey, they can do this to you, but if you have the proper control, you're going to be okay. With the bigger animal, there's not that lenience of the not big enough to do the damage. So you understand that there's no tape on the mouth either. So if it does grab onto you, you know that's an issue. But, like, you understand that is a risk you are willing to take. You are trying to get the word out there that these animals, even though they can do damage, you are trying to let other people know these aren't just dumb, like how we used to think about, Neanderthal, walking around with the club, bashing each other over the head.
But not wrong. Some gators are dumb. Most of them are not. So they're just like people.
Yeah, they are just like people. And that
some of us are dumb. Not all.
I think most people don't understand how intricate animal socialization is and how they view other animals. They don't want to deal with the interaction that could potentially harm them, even between themselves. Like, they'll do it for specific reasons, like guarding a nest or something. They will go out of their way. But if they can avoid confrontation, most animals are going to avoid confrontation, including alligators.
A lot of people think that wild animals are out to get them. Wild animals are afraid of people in ways that we can't even begin to understand. We are the top animal on the planet. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Okay. So a lot of these animals have gone through multiple generations of fearing people. So in an abnormal way, we have the advantage when we're in the wild of looking like the enemy to most of these creatures, which makes me sad.
Yeah.
But when I'm out there, I'm still aware that, like, okay, dude, you're in the Everglades. You know what we got? Gators, crocodiles, a manatee that if you piss it off, it'll flip your canoe and bulldoze your ass.
I've almost been flipped by a manatee before. They can move a lot faster than you think.
I've been bulldozed by manatees, and that's not to say that they're evil. It's just that they're like cows underwater, and cows will bulldoze you if you piss them off.
Yeah.
Same as anything else. So gators, crocodiles, manatees, pythons. We've got panthers. We've got bears, sharks, sea turtles that occasionally drag scientists under the water when they're scared.
Really?
To their death.
You didn't know about that?
Oh, no.
I didn't know about that.
Oh,
I got to
look that up. That is creepy as hell.
Leopard tail dragging someone underwater, but not a turtle.
Dude, a sea turtle, people have jumped on them to tag them, and the sea turtle grabs their arm. Sea turtle's like a freaking submarine. Under the black. Okay? Where sunlight doesn't reach.
I gotta look into that.
Okay? And you know what happens? No one ever sees them again. And the sea turtle comes back to the surface like nothing ever happened. And that's not to say that they're evil, but these are animals that have more power than we can ever physically understand. And they don't abuse it on a regular basis. And we have like that amount of physical power. And with some gadgets, bro, we abuse everything around the corner. So that's why it's important that people talk the way that you and I are talking. So this helps people try to have a different perspective, because we are the most powerful animal on the planet. And if everybody's perspective changes only a little bit, that could actually probably make a huge difference. You guys never know, right?
Yeah.
So that's very important.
You know, the conservation part of it, like conservation is not just we need to protect this animal from going extinct anymore. Conservation is also the knowledge to live alongside animals that are doing better because they have come a long way. And I think that especially in a place like the wolves in Yellowstone. Okay,
bro, why are people shooting wolves after we've helped them come back from extinction?
You know why? Because they got to a point where they were like, oh, we want the wolves there. We want these apex predators there because that's where they used to be. But we don't want them in our backyard. Like, that's the thing. That's the same thing with, why are they introducing bears to California?
This makes me upset.
Dude, why aren't they introducing grizzly bears to California? Because California doesn't want to deal with the grizzly bears. That's where they naturally were before. Why?
Don't get me started on California.
Why don't we introduce cougars back into, places like Tennessee, Appalachia? Because where are they going to go? You're going to have a panther back in Appalachia? You're going to deal with consequences of a panther, going after, some poor farmers, animals.
You know what's funny to me about the Environmental Protection Agency is that they want to pass these laws that we need to have the predators reintroduced. And when the farmers have issues with the predators attacking the livestock, the government should, if the government's going to pay anybody, pay the freaking farmers to be able to elevate their fencing in a proper way that keeps the big cats out and the wolves out. Problem solved. But nobody wants to talk about that.
If it was that simple, I mean, I agree, it should be that simple.
Anybody with a permit for farming on land in a certain region
should have the ability to do,
should have the government funding, because they're feeding us. I mean, farmers are like one of the most altruistic people out in this country.
It's been a fun night. My car battery died. It's been some time since we were recording a minute ago, but we definitely wanted to close this up on I don't think that the world is screwed when it comes to animals. I think that we need people to be a little bit more realistic and a little less, what is the term I'm looking for? A little less attention grabby. Fear-mongering. That's the word I was looking for.
It works.
It does work, but that's the reason why people do it. It does. These animals are important to our ecosystem as much as anything else. And even something as simple as I've been at art since I was 5. What happened to that? Oh, last week. Anyway, I can't appreciate you more for showing me the things you did today, and I really hope that some of y'all are able to get out there and meet this terrific man for yourself. You go down to the Everglades alligator. I'm sorry, Everglades alligator park or
Everglades Alligator Farm.
There we go. I was right the first time.
Reptile Riff. Check it out. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok.
Maybe. You gonna do TikTok?
I'm on it, but I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I got the account, but I don't use it. So we'll see what happens. So
commies take your data. Hey, I've sold my soul to the commies, apparently.
stressing me out.
I know, man.
So I want to interview you for a second.
Okay.
You got to sit on a big alligator.
Did.
Okay. One that I work with. So I don't want to tell any of you that gators are like dogs. A little bit like a dog.
I say sea puppy. Slot.
I mean, it's kind of accurate sometimes. So when the alligator that I work with sees me, he's chill. Most of the time. Sometimes he tries to kill me just to test me. And I'm ready for him. That's our relationship, me and that gator. When I'm in there, he knows I'm not going to hurt him. He knows I don't screw with him for no reason. So we're good. When someone comes in with me, he trusts me, just like a dog would trust, your dog trusts you when you go in the house and you bring friends with you. If you're not in the house, the dog's alone, and someone random walks through that door, what does your dog do? Goes and grabs, freaking tears ankles open, there's our calf, nice juicy steak of a calf, boom, peels it right off.
Swallows for a second.
Okay.
Dog.
Anyway, so I brought him into the gator fit with me. So the gator was calm and relaxed. I showed him how to get on the back of the gator, and he held the gator by the jaws.
See.
And I had you pet the alligator's neck jowl, the soft skin on the neck, and then touch the hard, bony bumps on the back. Gator scoop. Big, hard piece of bone. I don't know if you guys know this. There's 200 of them across the back of each alligator. Between 175 and 210, I counted them myself on many, many alligators. You won't find that number anywhere online besides here. Okay? I counted myself. You know why? Because I have no life. It is what it is.
Well, I tell you, this is literally as hard as a rock. Like, this thing is, I mean, this is absolutely incredibly hard. This just covers the back of the gator. That's incredible.
They're called osteoderm, bone skin in Greek, in case you guys are taking notes. Commonly called a scute. And it actually is not part of the spine. You guys know, like, a turtle shell is like part of the spine of the rib cage, all fused together outside of the animal to create protection for the creature? This is not part of the spine. This is excess bone floating, overlapping itself all the way across the top of the back of the gator and crocodiles as well. And this keeps them safe. So when they bite these till their teeth pop off and their teeth grow back in about 2 or 3 days. Incredible creatures with that much power and the amount of patience and calm energy that they have. There's so much that we have to learn from them. They're very special. And that's what I do on my shows. I try to get people to kind of see the world through their eyes and feel like they're doing the show with me. And that makes me happy. So how did it feel being on the back of that big alligator?
One, they're a lot softer. I've touched gators before, but even one the size of the, I'll put that video right here so you'll be seeing it. Even one that size, the neck is, I mean, it's extremely soft.
Like the skin, right?
Yeah, it's very, very soft. It's very smooth. It's not slimy. It's clean to the touch. But then the back, I mean, it's as hard as a rock. Like, it's a completely different texture. But then holding it under the mouth, he let me do it. I mean, he let me sit there and hold it. He didn't try to fight it. Eventually, he was fighting a little bit, like when he was getting a little uncomfortable, not with me, but he, kind of moved around. But the gators get restless. Of course.
It's okay.
But he wasn't like, being aggressive, but he let me hold him there and just sat there. And even with him just holding himself there, the power behind it, I don't know how you deal with him.
So, no, I don't get it. Me working with the gators, what I do is I don't try to, stop their power. I direct. So that really helps me a lot. It really helps me get away with a lot of things that I shouldn't. So I try to read the animal's behavior.
You're not going to be able to stop it yourself.
Of course, you can't. But there are people that try and they injure themselves. So good luck to those people. But
See,
I'm glad you enjoyed it. You know what? It's a very unique and special experience. You're welcome to come back anytime. Also, at this beautiful animal rescue, we are filming on location at the Everglades Outpost. This is my front lawn. We have our nice little fire pit, log bench. I personally have animals that I bring to schools. If you guys want to book me, you're welcome to check me out. Shoot me a DM on Instagram or TikTok.
And I'll have all that information in the description. You can see that, and I'll also pop it up towards the end, like right here.
There you go. And I have my own little baby alligator that I will actually bring out to your, kid's birthday party or your family's school or something like that with some baby tortoises and some cool snakes. Dean, you got to hold one of my snakes, the California king snake, a beautiful snake, white with black stripes. How is it to hold it?
I mean, it's a lot like other colubrids. They move a little bit more than, like, say, a python or a boa tends to. They're very active. I love colubrids in general, but
They're soft, right?
they're very soft. I think that's what people don't understand about snakes, is that they're not this big rough, like, slimy thing. They're very smooth. They're cool to the touch, and especially when they're used to people, they're just chill. Like, it's like any other animal. Like, you love your cat or your dog, they come up to you, you pet them. Snakes oftentimes are a lot like that in the right circumstances. I mean, certain ones are a little bit, it depends on the species. It depends on the individual. Like any animal, you don't go up to every dog and pet it because you know that the dog could bite. But that same time, if that dog knows you, it'll be the calmest. It's the same thing with reptiles, the exact same thing. And also very patriotic shows. It's seriously something you guys need to see.
I'm a little opinionated.
Hey, that's great. It comes out in the show, and it is awesome. So if you like watching my stuff, you're going to like seeing what he does. I can't thank you enough for everything, man. I appreciate you. And we'll definitely get some more stuff out. Maybe do some perfect hair pretty soon.
Absolutely.
And I can't thank you enough for having me and showing me some hospitality. So thank you guys for watching. Seriously, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will have all his information out there. Check him out.
Reptile Riff. Holy smokes. You're alive, I guess.
We'll be seeing more.
Right.
Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Keep a while.
See you later, alligator.
After a while, crocodile.
That's right.